Greetings, friends. Hope you can all hear me wherever you are, and good morning to some of you, good afternoon to some of you, good evening, and for me it's good night, middle of the night. And so rather wonderfully, we seem to be able to transcended time for a little while, time and space, and we gather together in this Zoom room. And I think we will begin this session with gathering together in terms of Dhamma. So we'll pay our respects to the shrine, the Triple Gem, and then perhaps 10 minutes of chanting, the opening homage, and then some chanting, and then 10 minutes of meditation. And after which, if there's a request, I'll give a Dhamma talk. Yoso bhagava araham samma sambuddho swakato yena bhagavata dhammo supatipanno yasabhagavato savakasambho Mamayam Bhagavatam Sasamma Sasangham Imehi Sangarehi Yataraham Aropitehi Abhipujayama Satuno Bhante Bhagava Sujira Parini Buddhopi Bhajima Janananungam Manasa Ime Sangaredo Katapana Karabunde Patigan Hatu Ham di Karatam Nindaya Sunkaya Araham Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Abhivade. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savakasambho Sangham Namam. Vandamayam Buddhasa Bhagavato Upapakanamaktaram Romanse Namo Tassa sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So let's sit quietly, meditation for about 10 minutes, just to settle down and come into our group presence.
Brahma Chaloka Dipati Sahambati Katanjaliyana Divaranaya Jata Santi Dasata Parashaka Shatika Dese tu Dhamman Anukan Himang Bhajam.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namassami. So I'm going to offer a short reading today. This is from the Connected Discourses, the Samyutta Nikaya, the second chapter, Deva Puta Samyutta, which is the young Devas. This one's 17, number 17, the young Deva Subrahma, Deva, the celestial spirits, who comes down to ask the Buddha a question. He's got a problem. And this is his question. Always frightened is this mind. The mind is always agitated about unarisen problems and about arisen ones. There exists release from fear, being asked, please declare it to me. And the Buddha's reply, not apart from enlightenment and austerity, not apart from restraint of the sense faculties, not apart from relinquishing all, do I see any safety for living beings. This is what the Blessed One said. The young David disappeared right there. It's pretty straight. Once again, Deva's having problems. Even they've got problems up in the Devaloka, this is the problem. Always frightened is this mind. The mind is always agitated about unarisen problems and about arisen ones. If there exists release from fear, being asked, please declare it to me. Not apart from bodha, enlightenment, awakening, and tapas, austerity or committed practice. Not apart from restraint of the sense faculties, not apart from relinquishing all, do I see any safety for living beings. This is the Buddha's brief, succinct response. But one would suggest that what he means, if you do cultivate bodha, that's the enlightenment factors, the mindfulness, investigation of dhammas, energy, joy, calming, collectedness of mind, samadhi, and equanimity. If you do cultivate those, there is a release from fear. Because clearly, Buddha was fearless and taught the way to safety. One of the epithets in Nibbana is the safe, the secure, and he said, "There's nowhere else, nowhere else apart from that." But there is this, and if you cultivate, you can find that. So it's clearly giving the Deva a bit of a shake-up So you just reflect this mind. We look around in the world in general, in nature, you see animals are basically always looking out for, they can be attacked by something, looking for food. It's fear and desire, fundamental things, just for their own physical welfare, survival. We have that too. But even when we have, houses and we have food and we have, security and so forth. Dave was saying, well, because Dave is obviously, they're doing okay too. The mind is still always agitated about an unarisen problem. So this is more to do with mental input. And if we consider our lives, then there's a lot of that driving human beings, a fear of being blamed, fear of what they look like, fear of being not being accepted, fear of not fitting in, fear of being left behind, rejected, fear of losing a job, fear of getting sick, fear of disease, of course, but even about things that aren't here. We now have the mentality to imagine what could be and how we better prepare for it. So there's a lot of hoarding that goes on and defenses to make sure we'll be okay, and on all levels. Make sure you get enough stuff so you can get a good job, so you get a living. Otherwise, you're not going to get looked after. No way. Make sure you work hard so you get. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. So this very powerful trigger. Make sure you look like this. Otherwise, nobody's going to like you. Make sure you sit like this, talk like this, wear this. Otherwise, and that's driving the people along underneath what they're doing to some degree or another. It's very uncomfortable, the kind of hostility or dislike or contempt of other human beings. And life in general, the changeable nature of it. So the Buddha's saying, well, you can't get past this no matter how many things you do, however much you've got, however much you've stored up, how strong your defense policy is. You still can't get through this. This fear, agitation is built in. Unless now a waking up, enlightenment, waking up, and certain things he pointed out, saying, the problem really isn't that things are impermanent, changing, uncertain. The problem is that we believe they shouldn't be. So we're looking for a certain safety or stability in a level of experience that cannot provide it. That's the agitation. We're trying to make secure that which cannot be secure because it's anicca. We ignore the sign of anicca. We try to, so is insurance, and there's this and there's that and so forth. We ignore the sign. Things are never completed. They're unsatisfactory. They are never quite finished. We're looking for the perfection. We're looking for the ultimate. We're looking for to get it right for everybody. Make sure that what I do, everybody will be okay for everybody. It doesn't happen. Life is a continual mistake, guesswork, really. Dukkha, I would say. Because we don't acknowledge that we feel that there could be a way in which we get it all right and things will be finished and completed. That would be it, over, done with, that's exactly right. Because we don't really acknowledge that, we're always struggling and agitating and worrying and comparing. Was it this? Was it that? Was it good enough? Probably could have been better. And you can see how, even star performers, athletes, once you run the 3-minute mile, you want to run the 2.5-minute mile. It's not, you want to keep getting up there. Once you've climbed a 25,000 foot mountain, you want to climb a 26,000 foot mountain with no oxygen and on one leg or something. So we realize that there's no way you can get to the perfection and to the finality and it's all completed. Then, this means you don't have to keep struggling and you have to complaining about yourself and criticizing and feeling anxious. It's like this. So this is a sense of waking up to it. So also, if you're trying to find attractiveness in that which is fundamentally not attractive. So human body is a human body, it's that. The beauty of it, very much a matter of opinion. And by and large, most people will feel that they're not good enough on that level, or they're anxious about it. In fashion, cosmetics. Because what you are is not nice enough. That's fear too. So if you recognize it doesn't have to be that good, then you could focus on what could be beautiful, which is a quality called metta. It's called the sphere of the beautiful. You do that, and that is attractive because even animals are attracted to warm-hearted, loving people. And it's not as if you're trying to attract, but to get that sense of feeling accepted. Now, often we don't accept ourselves. And so we imagine somebody else doesn't because I'm worried about. So this quality of metta is the beautifying quality. It beautifies everything. And it comes straight from the heart. And it's natural. You don't have to dress up for it. And the fourth quality is trying to find selfhood, trying to find that which can own or control or be constant in something that can't. Trying to do that, you're always struggling to make the emotional state steady, the energy steady, the intellect steady and comfortable, exactly right. You're trying to assemble a coherent identity out of something that can't do it. That is, the emotions are changing, the chitta is constantly shifting and changing. And when we take everything that happens in that as myself, it's getting intense. It gets either obsessive, narcissistic, or self-critical. A stupid thought. My emotions aren't very comfortable today. We take these as something that we are. Then there's going to be this constant agitation and nervousness, stirring. And when you consider it, well, and the very language I'm speaking is not mine. I mean, it's a result of thousands of years of human beings making meanings out of sounds. The accent is British accent, it's not mine. Per se, I didn't decide to have this one. The language, English language, is not, wasn't born speaking this. And when you realize that all the emotions you have are triggered by events happening, the perceptions, the attitudes you have are often socially established. Like some countries, it's fine to eat dogs. We don't eat dogs. We eat lambs. Well, lamb, dog, but the idea of eating a dog is disgusting. Some countries you can't eat pigs. It's disgusting. We eat other countries eat pigs all the time. So, these attitudes and biases are not self. And yet we can find ourselves extremely triggered by these qualities and identify with them, and they're not yours. And they cause conflict and disharmony, and there's the agitation again. And so if you see things directly, then, and he's also saying with these 4 called distortions, that try to see permanence of that which is impermanent, or security in that which is insecure. It doesn't mean there's no security, but looking for it there, you're never going to get it. And looking for the ending of suffering in that which is constantly incomplete and stressful, isn't even going to find it there. And looking for a coherent, stable presence in an identity package of perceptions and feelings and so forth, you're not going to find it there. It doesn't mean there isn't one. And this is, of course, what the deathless, Nibbana, the unconditioned, is about. So this is waking up to it. So austerity, this means any tapas, means any practice that moves against the flood, the tide of becoming, the asava, these outflows, is a tapas. Meditation is tapas. Taking precepts is tapas. Commitment is tapas, because you have to stand against, all kinds of comfort seeking or security seeking or popularity seeking trends. There's the cutting edge. You trade with the sense faculties and realize something that one can cultivate. We can notice, say, a flower and feel pleased, and we probably, with some reflection, see, what flower is that? Pleasure is here, happiness is here, there's the flower. Okay, so I don't have to go into the flower to find the happiness, it's coming from here. So why go out? And once one knows where one's happiness is, then could that be cultivated around not momentary appearances in the sense realm, but around qualities of respect and integrity and goodwill, and this kind of qualities that make one feel warm-hearted. Relinquishing all. This is interesting, because I think one can probably misunderstand that as some extreme asceticism, but the word here is nitsogo, which nitsogo refers to giving up something that wasn't really yours. It's like a forfeiture. It means put aside, don't hang on to what never was yours in the first place, but you thought it was. So he says, well, relinquishing all. This means the senses, the indriyas, the khandhas, everything that could be seen as a manifestation arose. It was conditioned. It was never yours. The body was never yours. It arose. It was formed out of food and water and air and so forth. So it was never. So acknowledge that. It doesn't mean you've got to get rid of it. It means that's that. And therefore, one has a sense of respect, detachment, dispassion, and even gratitude that we've been gifted for a while. For a while, we've been gifted to use this properly. So relinquishment does not mean, dismissing. It means once we liberate it from the grasping of selfhood, then one can relate to that in a much more appropriate, judicious and balanced way. Our lives are gifts. not possessions. So this is definitely, the Buddha's perspective, and practicing it. So enlightenment faculties, or faculties for waking up, that we train ourselves in, mindfulness, the ability to sustain spacious, non-grasping, unflustering awareness, attention around a thought, a sensation, a feeling, an emotion, a body, a situation, a relationship. We're in this. How is that? And as we know, the content of what we're mindful of is going to be moving and shifting. Yeah? You're not going to find anything, any content that doesn't have some ripple and shift and struggle with it. Whether it's your own body, how you are with another person, it's going to have some shift and change and not quite right, and separations and misunderstandings. But we use these to make the mindfulness something that maintains and doesn't give up the focus and doesn't give up connection despite the shifting and changing of the phenomena that we're mindful of, which bodies and minds are clear examples. Therefore, without trying to make them stable and constant, we arrive at something that's more stable and constant, which is the relationship to them, the mindfulness of them. And of course, the big one is, can we be mindful of disagreeable feeling? Which definitely, can we be mindful of agreeable feeling, which makes us, can you maintain that? Because there's a possibility of undiluted clarity, undiluted presence. And Dhamma Vijaya, the second of the awakening factors, to explore. This is a Dhamma. This is a quality. It feels like this mood, this energy, this sense of whatever we're meeting, being blamed, feels like this. I don't like it. Not agreeable feeling at all. Could it be ever the case there was no disagreeable feeling? No. Therefore, this which is getting in my way is another way to sustain and to test and to hold one's sati, because it's not a person that's experiencing a quality, a mood, a shift, an emotion, physical discomfort, emotional discomfort. One is experiencing a quality that we take personally. But it's not a person. Everybody gets it. It'll happen to you sooner or later. You can't be separated from it. You can't control it. You can't even store it up. If you are storing it up, what's happening, what makes something seemingly permanent, is because one hasn't really yet established proper awareness of it. One is defending against it, or holding on to it, or being triggered by it to be obsessed with it. I'm taking it very much as a person. Unpleasant feelings like this. Nobody likes it. It happens. The world is unfair, unjust. People we love get hurt. I don't like that. But me not liking it isn't going to make it any different. So there can be, with clarity, it can be a response of compassion rather than agitation and negativity towards this being, that being, towards the human predicament in general. And that's definitely a shift. in which one feels one has established perspective, proper perspective. One's lived responsibly when he's brought forth what's truly human. So these then are qualities that as we explore these as qualities rather than as a person, there is that beginning to find one's way to some appropriate ground. And through these practices, as one becomes less engaged with the search for permanence in conditioned things, less appalled by the nature of conditioned things, less dazzled by the nature of conditioned things, then the citta draws to its own presence of awareness. And this is the deathless, when the citta does not take a stand upon, does not grasp, does not establish itself upon conditioned phenomena. This is the deathless. So that's a safe place for beings, the only safe place. And from this safe place, then one is in a proper state to deal compassionately and clearly with situations that arise. There's no bluff, no pretense, no negativity. We just get on. Forgiveness, tolerance. We just get on. And no longer idealistic, no longer supreme, no longer the best or the worst. We just get on. And that's what life is asking of us. And, and this situation, as with all. I think it was maybe a week ago when I was asked to do a video. I can't, no, I'll never do it. No, I don't do that. I've done 4 since then. Because whether you want to do it, feel good about doing it. When the situation arises and you feel connected and you feel compassion and concern and you feel you can help people, you just do it. Whether you can do it good, not so good, the best, exactly what people want, you just do it, because that's all you do. Not apart from enlightenment and austerity, not apart from restraint of the sense faculties, not apart from giving it all back, do I see any safety for living beings. I'd like to suggest the Buddha went with this: if there's enlightenment factors and that committed practice, if there's sense restraint, if there's a sense of letting go, then there is safety for all beings. Yeah. Not just for oneself, but for all beings that you come in touch with, because you're not demanding they be something or trying to get something out of them or fearing and despising them. This is the path to safety. So that's that's what I will have to say for this evening. And those of you who are not propping your eyelids open, we could finish with another 10-minute sitting just to take in what's been brought to your consideration and contemplate.
Sadhu karanta dhammase. Sadhu, 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 anumadami.
So thanks for joining in. Hope it's been useful. And if conditions are supportive, maybe we can do it again. So thanks for all the technological support and the hosting. We can only do this if we act together, and that's exactly how it should be. So let's finish with paying respect to the triple gem, Araham Samma Sambuddho.
Tang Habivademi Aka
Bhagavato Dhammo
Supatipanno Bhagavato
Sangho
Good night, good morning, good day. Be safe, be well, be happy.